Hi, Dylan Dunn from Tiffin, Ohio, fighting out of fly kickbox and fighting for my grandfather.
Get him out now, because you got about 15 seconds. Fuck. Oh shit, I'm live. I forgot my mic is live. I'm talking right over the video. Isn't that fantastic? I love that that's in the screen.
Support your fighters, make a difference, and donate today. Come watch us fight. June
Everybody
14th,
donate to
Mission
Dunn's
Bar.
Fight. Let's go 6/14/2023. And yes, we are now actually live with everybody, and you can hear all of us. I am so happy that I forgot my microphone was live on that particular scene in OBS. My name is Adam Thursby. Welcome in. Joining me tonight, a lot fewer than last week, but that's okay. I think it's going to make for a more concise show. I loved having everybody around last week, but paring it down a little bit as we go through the season, switching out different people and everything, I think is a good thing too. So Mr. Anderson is over there to the side in the top right corner. We have Mr. B Fife himself right below me, and joining us, Retro himself. And as you can see, he is all up for it tonight. It is apparently Indy 500 weekend, I have been told, and that is why we are full on America with this.
Yeah, we're testing the outfit for Sunday.
For Sunday. Okay, very good. Well, we're going to talk about Sunday. Welcome back, everyone. This is Recovery Drive, where we are going to review what happened in the past week, what's coming up, and let's get to it. Actually, I'm glad, Fife, you are here tonight. Last week we had Matt and you, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Xbox to start this off. You guys just had the penultimate race of your season. Now, I say you guys, you're league manager over there. You're not racing Xbox anymore, and we're going to get to that later because you just had your first PC race this past week. And I know Anderson himself said he wanted to talk to you about it, but it looks like this Xbox season is coming to a close pretty close, right? Like,
yeah,
this is pretty tight.
There's always it seems like every season there's always like the top two drivers that just have the best attendance and the most consistent results that come down to the wire at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, the last event for Xbox was 2 sprint races. So, each driver got half points for each race, and it gave them a chance to, get 2 double finishes.
Nice.
So
now the you just said though they got half points for each race, so it was still a single race's worth of points.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So if you had to miss that event, you didn't lose out on 2.
Gotcha.
2 rounds worth of points. But
okay, very good.
Yeah.
Jordan Blair leading this season with 195 points so far. Pretty consistent. JB staying up there, 2-1 this past round. Really good showing for round 6 in the Xbox League. But several podiums throughout the season. So good on him. Ben Kubar sitting up there at a 191 points, says that's a 4-point race. And now is there double points for this race coming up this Sunday, because it is an endurance at Spa? So are there any double points for that, or is standard points for that?
I would have to check with Matt on that one.
Okay.
I know all the previous seasons I didn't have endurances be extra points.
Okay.
So it'll depend on if Matt wanted to switch. I'm kind of doing a similar thing to what you guys did with me, where you kind of let me do my own thing and kind of experiment. And
Yep.
Matt's been doing the same and been getting good results clearly.
Yeah, fantastic.
So he's doing a kick-ass job.
What I like to see here is the consistency. I mean, we've got to go all the way down to, if we look here, you got 16 drivers still showing out for 4 races of this, 17, 18. There's a lot of drivers here showing up week after week after week. And as you said, the ones at the top obviously have shown out for every race, but seeing the attendance of getting close to 20 drivers every week on Xbox, I think is fantastic. Mike Gruel currently sitting in 3rd in the Porsche 911, the number 56 car, 165 points. Tells me he's within reach. He could hit Q-Bar, right? I don't know the points.
The point scale, it's 1 point for every place down to 30. So 30th gets 1 point, and first place gets 30.
Gotcha.
So a deadly accident for
something happens to Q-Bar and it's over. So Very good. And as we said, that coming up next week, let's switch over real quick. Coming up, the final race of Xbox Season 7 at Spa for 60 minutes, May 27th at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully everybody is around for it. What are the plans for X5? Maybe, again, I don't know how involved you are anymore. I know you, Matt and Max, are kind of jumping on that and running that league at this point, but what are the plans after this coming race? Are you guys going to spin up another season right away? Are you going to try and hold back to line things up with the PC side? What do we have any plans?
Lining up with PC is the goal.
Okay.
As long as another new car pack doesn't come out for PC and delay the season again.
Right.
But yeah, we want to try. I think we're going to try to do, from the last we were talking, is like a full mixed class championship, maybe like a 5 race mini season of GT3s and GT4s. And then we also want to try our hand out at, now that driver swaps work on console, we want to try one of those events as well.
Awesome.
But that's going to take a lot of dialing in with the entry list and things like that. So this season has been a lot of learning how the entry lists work, and it's been going well so far. So
I think
things ahead.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic that the consoles are finally getting some of the features that the PC side has had for so long. And these guys are getting to experience some of that, right? And we'll see how driver swaps go. Hopefully that goes well, because it'd be great to see some of those events. I will say this: Xbox is on season 7, PC is on season 6. If we line these up where it's week for week, y'all are gonna have to drop back. You're gonna have to run a second season 7. You're gonna have 2 season 7 champions. We're gonna have to line these up somehow, or it's gonna be insanity. My OCD is gonna kick in, and it's just gonna be like, no, they should be the same. I don't know how Xbox got a full season ahead, but we should line those up.
We can just spell out the 7 this next season, and that'll be different.
Write it like the movie, SE with the 7 in the middle. You can do that too. We'll come up with something.
That's true.
Moving on, guys, let's talk a little bit about PC. We had a race at Suzuka this past weekend on Sunday. Let's talk about results first. Let's jump over and let's talk a little bit about results. And then I have a question for the three of you, something I want to understand about what I saw during the race and what happened in Discord after the race. I want to try and understand this. So but we'll get there. Let's talk about the AM class first. Bruce Hopkins, Adrian Banache, and Michael Zwanenberg take the podium this Sunday for the AM class, or this past Sunday for the AM class. Chris Findlay, Jester Flume, Matthew Givens, Alex Martin, the Bosworth, Austin Phelps, and Josh Butler round out your top 10 right there. So those are your standings. Being the first race of the season, those are the standings for the AM class. Let's jump up to the Pro Am and see where these guys landed. Mike Patrick, Steven Tomazik, and your boy Blue lands on the podium. I don't know how. Doesn't make any sense to me. Anderson will maybe defend him. I don't know how Blue ends up on the podium unless the entire field just wipes themselves out in the first lap and he's just able to roll away with it. Adam Willie, Ivan Zolotarov, Edward Walsh, Daniel Varkosa, Maria Kroyachkova, and Steven Music, along with Tristan Yonendijk, are your top 10 in Pro-Am. Adam, is Adam still here? Do you stick around?
Adam is.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about your race this past Sunday?
I thought it went great, other than coming into the wall a few times, still getting that P4 and fastest lap. So it's going to be a good one.
Very good. It does look like, I mean, again, like you said, you had fastest lap. Seems like, what would you say the problem was? What put you with fastest lap of the race? What held you back from catching the people in front of you? From was it consistency, or did you get punted? What happened?
So I didn't touch anybody else that entire race. Some of it was just inconsistency and me losing it once or twice, just a little bit, just enough to stay behind those guys for the rest of the race.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm just curious. But again, Blue on the podium. Wonders never cease.
We're tied.
I see that. Yeah, you guys are. Yeah, you guys are tied. How are you tied?
Oh,
you got fastest lap. Okay, added a point.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Blue will take like the position though because of finishing.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I got you. No, good to see. And let's move up to the silver class. Talk about these guys. Mike Burkhoff, Miko Lepala, John Gray are the podium for silver. Terry Driscoll, Brandon Pfeiffer, there he is. Rob Keesar, Drew Barakovsky, Jace Wright, Matt Comiskey, and G. Steven round out your top 10. So, Fife, I got to ask, first PC race with the league, right? You're coming from console.
Mhm.
First of all, how much practice did you do on PC before the start of this season, other than your qualifying laps?
I did a good bit on, it was either the Friday or Saturday before the race. Just did a lot of that's, I mean, I have all the tracks memorized at this point, playing, ACC from day one and or at least day one on console. So it's really just, it's getting used to the new physics and the new car I'm using and all that. So I know Suzuka pretty well, but it's just, fine tuning everything.
Okay, you as well, talking about it. You pulled fastest lap. You're tied with Terry Driscoll for 4th in points right now. What did you find?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yep, it looks like you had fastest lap. So we're gonna see how silver goes this season. What for you? I know we talk about the physics and that. You would have felt that in the run up, in practicing and doing the qualification prior to the season. During the actual race, what was the most different for you moving from console over to PC during the actual race itself?
It's going to be an extremely boring answer, but the biggest difference is going from gamer tags to real names.
Okay.
I find gamer tags are a hell of a lot easier to remember when you get in an incident with
Real
someone, or you had a really close battle with. But the funny thing is, now that entry lists work on Xbox, they're using real names too. So
Oh wow.
it would be the same on Xbox. But yeah, that's really the biggest difference. The physics difference is so. When PC was still on 1.8, the physics difference was so minute that it was pretty easy to jump back and forth.
Okay. Very good.
At least on my Thrustmaster wheel that I had.
All right, cool. Now let me ask you, did you get so frustrated on Sunday that you decided to throw random race rig parts across your floor, or what is going on in the background there? I wish I could zoom in. The chat requested onboard view with Anderson. They wanted to go full screen Anderson for some reason. I don't have the ability to do that. I can set it up, but I got to tell you, and I'm going to make this a little bigger for a second. Look at the floor. What are you doing?
I am installing. So that's kind of the little teaser of it there. That wheel rim. I got a Simagic Alpha Mini. On what's today? Today's Thursday. I got it yesterday. I don't know how I forgot that already. So I was setting it up and. All the wire management that you approve of that I've done. Had to undo all of that to get all the Thrustmaster stuff out of the way.
Listen, just keep a fire extinguisher nearby and you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just throw the wires wherever they want to go. It doesn't matter if it's a tangled mess. It's fine. All right.
As long as you're happy.
Yes.
That's right. As long as you're happy.
So the wheel's up and running. I was up late fine tuning all that, and then the mess is going to be probably a tomorrow project.
Very good. Well, we'll see if Fife has everything going on for this Sunday's race, which we will talk about here in just a bit. Let's move on to our pro class drivers. Matt Damon, fantastic actor, and apparently a faster driver than Anthony Anderson, taking first with Anderson, Tobias Gable on the podium. Jake Wells, Tom Foose, Retro Coffin. We got two people to talk to about this race. Francesco Mendel, John Gixer, Charlie Booth, and Timothy Glendinning finish out the top 10. I got to say, Charlie Booth, I don't know how he finished this race given he was rubber banding all over that track. It was insanity to watch. If anybody watched the live stream or watched it afterwards, we got to see him drive into the woods several times. It was a lot of fun, actually. Anderson, let's start with you finishing second. You seem to have a pretty consistent race this week. A few maybe minor issues when we were focused on you, but otherwise I think it seemed pretty consistent for you this week.
Oh, this was a good race week for me. This is notoriously like one of my better tracks. So it was a little bit disheartening to have the one mess up that I did, where I think I broke on the spoon exit a little funny and just threw the rear end out on me, which definitely lost me, I think, about like 10 seconds worth of time. And the worst part of it all was right after the pit stop. I think it was maybe like 2 laps after I pitted. So I gave the rears a nice little flat spot on them early on.
A little scrub down real quick.
But it was good to see I had pace for Matt. I was catching him at different parts of the race, so it was good to see I have pace to keep up with the people at the front. And I'm hoping Laguna would be a better result.
And I gotta say, I mean, as fast as you know, as far ahead as Matt Damon was, I mean, we were looking at the 13.3 seconds ahead of you. Your best lap times are only off by about a little over a tenth, right? So I would say that pace is there 100%. We'll see how that goes throughout the rest of the season. Tobias Gable in the Audi Evo 2, great race from him. I think Tobias had a wonderful race on Sunday. Retro, how you feeling, man? How you feel about that sixth place?
I'm pretty happy. I had a moment coming out of T2, and I found out that I didn't have enough tires to be on the inside line of 5, and I let go of the steering wheel. The car corrected itself and ended up outside, and it's like, yeah, it could have gone a lot worse into a wall.
Very good. Well, no, it's good. I mean, I think you guys both had great races. Anderson obviously sitting up there high in points, only one off the lead. Gable, who had fastest lap in pro? Oh, we got
Dimitri.
Dimitri Athwal in P11, finishing up in P11 with a 2:07.7 2 minutes flat and 0.7. And so those are the results. Now, I had a question for you guys. And again, I think it's a little inside baseball because, well, let's face it, most of the people watching this show are probably in Box 3. They're on the Discord. There might be a few who aren't, so maybe they won't understand. But here's what I want to ask you guys. I don't understand. So this season, we talked about it last week. We instituted the new point system as far as penalty points. I saw the list came out this week of those who earned some this week, right? I think there were 4. Anderson, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there were like 4 drivers total, but like a total of 7 or 6 points handed out. Like some had 2 due to multiple incidents, things like that, right?
Yes, I want to say there's 4 drivers that got points. I think 2 or 3 of them had 2 after this. So
here's the thing, like that point system in both races, both the Am and Pro-Am split and the Pro and Silver, really honestly seemed to work for the most part. He won, and most of the first lap in both races was relatively clean. There were some incidents. Don't get me wrong. There were some. I mean, I know there was at least one good pileup in one of the races, right? My point being is it was always T1, T2. It was a absolute snafu shit show out of the gate, and it seemed like that calmed down a little bit. Now people still have. You know, again, there were still incidents in those laps, and we handed out the penalty points for it. What I find interesting was sitting with Phil in the booth, the races looked cleaner than what we experienced in season 5. And yet coming back to the Discord these last days since the race on Sunday, man, things have been contentious. Like people are a little upset in the Discord for the incidents that did happen. Now, is that because there were fewer incidents, therefore there's more focus on them? Or is that because people are uppity at the beginning of a new season? What's causing that?
That's a tough one. I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Honestly. I think because of how little incidents there are, they're more meaningful when they do happen.
Okay.
And then on top of that, it's been a while. Some people, might have forgotten how to race with certain people, or they might not have recognized a new face or two. So it gets kind of contentious at times with that. I just think it's a mix, honestly.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. Fife, Retro?
Yeah, I think it's the first race of the season, so I think everybody went through T1, T2 pretty tense, and then that's just the outlet. That's what's happening. It'll probably wind down as the races go on.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'd say it's also just, anticipation for a new season. You have a lot of downtime where there's not much racing. You're excited to get back, and then your first race back, if you get an incident, it hurts a little more than, in a mid-season race.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's trying to win the championship on race 1,
Especially Anderson. He's awful.
That's right.
Scrubbing tires. Let's go. Well, all right. That's like I said, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because it seemed there was a very odd difference there, because normally when we saw these big incidents, we had these huge conversations on the Discord about how you did all this and blah, 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 blah. And like, we had to shut it down a little bit because people were getting antsy about, and, at each other. And it seemed like this week there were few incidents, but that continued to happen. And I get it, right? Those incidents have some meaning to people, but my goodness. Yeah. just a little insane. So, but again, great week at Suzuka. I really think these penalty points that Anderson and Blue came up with are going to be fantastic. I saw some comments from some people that were asking, like, I believe it was Jonendijk who asked, because he was the recipient of, I think, 2 points this week, and said, where do I get a quali ban asking for a friend? And I think it was Anderson. I think it was you that answered him, or maybe it was Blue that said 3. So calm down. It's just like, like, I think people are going to take it seriously, right? They're going to see what's going on. They're going to understand that they can't, you just can't. You cannot continue to cause incidents and expect there to be no problems, right? I think that's important that we talk about that, and that things are going pretty well so far. Let's talk about talking about the previous session. Don't forget, this season with Box 3 on PC, Next Level Racing is handing out an HF8 haptic feedback system, and SimTrack USA is providing a custom dashboard to winners. Basically, it's going to go like this. Every race you show up for, you get a point. Every time you place first, second, or third, it earns you additional tickets into this draw. And during the last race of the season, we are going to draw that live on air at the end of that race. Because even with incidents in the last race, I think we can be pretty safe to assume first, second, and third are going to earn their tickets. Everybody who participated is obviously there no matter what incidents occurred. I think we can be pretty safe to do that. And that last race will take place at Spa on July 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to tell you, I really wish I want to talk to Next Level Racing, because I really would like to try that haptic feedback system. I'm not going to lie. I can't afford, I don't make Anderson money. I can't afford a full motion rig. So I'm figuring, like, if I could just try the haptic system,
wish.
I'd love to try it and review it while we're doing this giveaway. It'd be awesome. But Ando is my haptic feedback.
I just saw that.
I do not even want to know what that means. I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I almost want to go wash my eyes out with bleach. Yeah.
Wait, Molson, so are we getting
your MVP?
What's that, Retro? I'm sorry.
So you're gonna test out the haptic feedbacks? Can we? So we get the Molson pre-use treatment, like.
Listen,
I know how you rate.
Haptic system or no haptic system, there are no pants worn in that seat back there that currently has a jacket laying on it, because I'm not racing right now.
And
that's how it goes. But let's move on. If we want to talk about prizes, the way we get to the prizes is we get through the season and as cleanly as possible. So what's coming up? Laguna Seca is coming up. Now, the grid sizes we saw this past week in the 2 splits, man, Laguna is not Suzuka. Suzuka is a 2-minute lap. People can spread out. It's a relatively flowing track, right? We talk about Laguna. Laguna's got some weird corners. First of all, T1's a hook. T2 is very tight, right? Again, Suzuka, it's very wide and a little longer of a corner for T1. We have to talk about T2 at Laguna Seca, and T2 is real tight. T2, yeah. The Andretti, I believe it's the Andretti hairpin, right? And then we also have to discuss the corkscrew, because someone's going to lose it in the corkscrew and cause an incident.
Somebody's gonna send it right into the
They're
corkscrew.
Send it hard. We call that the
Airborne,
double
just
done.
straight across.
Since the early days of Box 3, we call that the double done. When you send it in the corkscrew and actually pull it off successfully, that is called giving them the double done, the big double D's. So let's talk about T2 first, the hairpin. How much what's the anticipation this week for Laguna? Let's talk about the whole track. I don't care. For all 3 of you guys, what's the anticipation this week? Sorry?
Yeah, go.
What did Adam say? Adam said something. He's trying to be sneaky.
I said there's 4 of us here.
Oh, that's right. There are 4 of us. Yeah, I forget. I do forget, because you're audio only.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm out for Laguna.
Oh, you're not racing this week?
That's right.
It's the Indy 500.
Oh,
sir.
that's right. You're going to be
I'm going to be in turn 2, laying on the lawn, camping out.
There you go. All right, so let's talk to Fife, Anderson, and Adam. What are you guys looking for this week at Laguna Seca for each of your classes?
Looking for close racing, hopefully clean racing. I know from past Laguna Seca races, I tend to be very timid on lap one and lose a few places, and then spend the whole time trying to gain it back on, uh, pretty narrow track. But luckily, Laguna's a track where people pretty commonly make mistakes on. So I find the corkscrew I got down, but it's that T2 through T5 that I just if I get one wrong, it ruins the whole chain for me.
Okay. All right. What about you, Anderson?
I'm kind of similar to Fife in a sense. I tend to take lap one a little safe, but at the same time, I try to like get as close to the bumper in front of me as I can going through the hairpin because you got so many people on the outside trying to cut in front of you to try and take that line, so you get the next turn advantage. So it's just about finding the line of being close but not being so close you give someone a nice little bumperoo and send them spinning. And then I pick up 2 warning points myself in result. But after that, it's just about for me, it's gonna be about consistency because it's very easy to lose the car, especially going through the fast kink before the corkscrew itself, and then the last section. You know, you got the couple fast corners, which you can lose the rear, especially on exit because you got sand everywhere, but it definitely doesn't help in the fast corner exits.
Okay. Is the corkscrew the hardest part of the track?
Sneaky, no. I don't think so.
I don't
Okay.
think so either.
Okay. What is?
Same here.
I think
where are we going to see the struggle from the most people?
well, as just keep an eye out on the left-hander after the corkscrew when a Porsche goes through on low fuel. Just keep an eye out.
Okay. All right. It won't be you. We know it won't be you this week though.
Won't be me,
Won't
but
be
you're
you.
off throttle, so your weight is kind of everywhere, and weight changes kind of catch you out.
Okay. And Louis Riccardi in the chat agrees with you. Exit a corkscrew. So does Rob. Corner after corkscrew. Okay.
Rob drives a Porsche.
There you go. What about you, Anderson?
I'll pick something different to not, be a bandwagon. I think the tough part, especially for like if you're going side by side, that fast kink before the corkscrew, because that is absolute murder if someone tries to go too wide through it. I feel like there's always someone going off track. Either the person hits the curb on the inside and goes flying,
Yep.
or the person on the outside just goes and gets a whole bunch of sand underneath their car. So it's usually one or the other.
Now you guys will have to remind me before I get to you talking about the corner that Anderson that you're talking about. I haven't driven Laguna in ACC in a long time. I know in iRacing, if you take too much curb, forget about it. It's over. You're going to like once you hit it, you're going to continue in a straight line from there and end up out in the dirt. Is it same for ACC? Because it's been a long again. Like I said, it's been a long time. Okay.
I think it used to be a lot worse. Like with the update we got, all the curbs are a lot more subtle.
Okay.
I still think it's death, though. You're still going off.
You're still on your way.
It's just a less violent death.
Yeah, it's a subtle death.
You're gonna hit sand. You might not make the wall, is what you're saying.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
there you go.
There you go. All right, Fife. What about you? What's the worst part of the track? What are you most concerned about coming into it?
I'll say the kink as well. And half the time it's just me overthinking it and turning in too early or too late.
Okay.
But the other corner I'd say is the corner before that, the left-hander before that, starting to go uphill. If you understeer even a little bit there, it's very easy to catch that outside curb. And there's been certain instances where I bottomed out there and it just caught the car and spun it. And then if you don't spin and you just touch the dirt, then you lose all your momentum going uphill, and then you can end up in a side-by-side situation through the kink, which never ends well.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. That's where we're going to watch this weekend at Laguna Seca. I like Laguna as a track to cover. I think we're going to have a lot of tight racing. Again, we're talking about a grid of 30. We had 30 cars in the pro and the silver split. At Suzuka, 2-minute lap. There's plenty of time, 2+ minute lap. There's plenty of time for people to spread out. Laguna's a 140,
Busy.
140,
120s.
20.
120s.
20,
I'm
sir.
sorry. Okay, I apologize. I meant my speed was 140, which is fine.
All right, fair.
The point being is, it's a lot shorter than Suzuka. So taking 30 cars of multi-class racing onto that track is going to be a much, much different experience than what we just had this past Sunday. I think people are really going to have to be on their game to calm down a little bit, right? Again, keep saying it. You can't win in turn one. You can certainly lose. So we'll see what happens. I love Laguna as a track to cover. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great corners where people can go too wide because they're mid-speed corners, right? And so someone wants to make the challenge on those mid-speed corners, and I think it's a lot of fun to watch. So this is absolutely excellent. But moving on, time to rig roast again, ladies and gentlemen. Did it last week. We're going to do it again. Let's get over there. Now, guys, I'm going to say this up. Yeah, Molson does 140. That's right, Poppins. Don't worry about it.
I put Molson in the safety car.
Yeah, you put me in safety car. I probably am remembering 140s from driving an MX-5 or something like that. I don't know. I don't drive. Like I said, it's probably been over a year since I've been at Laguna in ACC. So leave me alone, Poppin. Let's talk about rig roast and review, guys. Let's move on to it. Now, here's the thing. Most of the stuff tonight, most of the slides are very, I don't know, very bare because this is what people share. So Terry Driscoll gave us one picture, no description. So I don't even know what's going on here. He's got a PC. I can see that. I like the look of a rig. It's very compact in the corner. Again, a little bit, I can see behind those pedals that the cable management looks like B5's floor right now. It's brutal. But I don't know what Terry's rocking as far as what can you guys are pretty good at telling by looking what the wheel is, everything. Like,
Is that a Moza?
Looks like Moza.
It looks like a Moza. If I were to guess, it looks like a Moza. Is that an R5? It looks like the smaller one.
Okay.
With the I think it's
Sprint?
the ES wheel with a customizable mod on it.
Okay.
I just realized too that the giant Moza sticker on the back of his seat probably gave.
Oh yeah, that
A
would
little
help.
bit. A little bit. I kind of figured he had Moza, but all right. So again,
it looks like
yeah,
jump
go ahead, Retro.
over. Yes, because I'm retro.
Sorry, Adam.
What?
You just love getting my name wrong lately, don't you?
I do. It's my favorite.
Anyway, it looks like he has to jump over his PC to get into his cockpit.
True.
It looks like fun.
Unless the seats are on sliders, or the seat is on sliders, and that's why there's such a big gap between the back of the frame and the seat.
Oh yeah, I know mine is. Well, Fife,
Yeah.
you know,
That gap triggered my OCD, and then I realized, it's because if he tries to climb out without sliding the seat back, he'll knock his PC over.
Louis Ricard just said to use the PC as a step. Getting
well, if you buy the right case, that shouldn't be a problem, right? You'll be fine. I do see he's got his shoes right there, though. The shoes are right there by the rig. I like the. I'm trying to figure out if he had to have installed LEDs under the rig, right? Like that blue light is not all from the PC. It's just it doesn't make sense. So, but he's got some lights under it. I kind of like it. Again, cable management, my dude. Holy cow! But I do like it.
Is he using the case as a mouse pad?
It looks like
Is
it.
that a mouse on the top of it?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Sure looks like it.
Yep. Why not? Right? It's there. It's a flat surface. You can put anything on it.
Multi-use.
Well,
it's efficient.
So listen, what happens? I don't know. He might live somewhere where it's cold, and when you have your hand out, it just gets really cold. So you put it right there. You know, the PC keeps your hand nice and warm.
There you go. See? Retro's got it down. He knows what's going on. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Who is next? Mr. Anderson himself.
Oh, I was
The man,
wondering
the
when
myth,
mine
the
was going to come
legend.
in.
A Moza R9 base with a GS wheel, Moza CRP pedals, Sim Motion rig with an Asus 34-inch ultra wide PC, rocking a Ryzen 9 3900X, 32 gig of RAM, and an RTX 2070 Super. Anderson, put the damn end caps on your damn profile.
All right, hold on. Someone else called this out, and I addressed this. I literally took this picture the second I finished it because I was so proud of it being done. I did put the end caps on all the spots
Did you?
after this
Did
picture
you?
was
Are
taken.
you sure?
Yes.
Did you?
I could technically prove it right now and point the camera towards it, but I'm not going to do that.
And to Pop, I'm sorry, to Lewis in the chat, what is going on with the desk, dude? What is
Again, that's all my parts all out over the desk. So I cleaned that up afterwards too. So I have like my flashlight, like the tools are out all over the desk.
Now listen, I will give you this. Cable management, pretty tight, right? I don't really see
except for the Ethernet cable hanging on the door handle behind it.
Well, I was gonna say that's what I'm saying. Like I could see like one cable in behind whatever's going on there, and I knew I read the messages. I know you said that this was like literally just put together. But other than that, man, it looks really clean. I'll give you that 100%.
Oh yeah.
Oh, please tell me you cleaned your floors too.
Of course.
Well, they look clean.
And if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, either unless that's just the way the carpet is.
That's the way the carpet is. He's
it's
no,
like
he's
light. Like
that's a shadow. I mean,
no. My floors are clean. Don't worry, Willie.
It's listen,
you just remember when you were growing up and your parents would make you like spot clean the house if you had any company over and you were like, who the hell is coming up and looking in my room? Adam's the guy. Adam is that guy who walks in, immediately comes to someone's house and starts inspecting every corner for
he's
it.
On the way to use the restroom and instead diverts to every other room on the way like a ping pong ball, checking carpets and nonsense. You right? Yeah, I got you.
So Rob just brought back a traumatic experience of building my build. How many trips to the hardware store? I believe that answer is about 3 or 4 to get all the right screws to fit everything. It was quite the process.
Isn't that the answer for everybody? Like it's at least 3 or 4. I know it was for me. It was about the same. It was about 3 or 4. Yeah,
I didn't have to.
Oh, well, aren't you fancy?
Holy robot!
Oh, retro! You went all robot-y on us, man.
Did I?
There you go.
Okay, I thought that was me.
Okay. All right. No. Anderson's gonna start a school per request of how to drive. So he's gonna sit here. He's gonna sit here, you know.
Yeah, they want to recreate the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. So now I'm just gonna picture, Anderson start driving with somebody on his lap.
Can it be me?
That's what
I race with no pants. Can it be me?
Oh no!
I didn't say there was nothing. I said there's no pants. I might be wearing shorts. You don't know.
I'm sorry. Your application's on hold after that.
I think we all know the truth to that.
Oh man!
It's only if you use the haptic mat.
There you go. You got to have that happen.
That's the only way it'll still out.
Anderson would be.
Wow. So I have to buy the haptic mat, and then Anderson will teach me how to drive. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that included? Like it's just get a little card, you just scan it,
right?
Book your appointment.
So many terrible jokes, but I'm trying not to get us canceled here.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. All right, let's move on from Mr. Anderson to Shane 155. Now, this again is one of these ones that was provided with one picture, no info. Shane, obviously an Xbox racer. He's got the Series S down there in the corner. Looks like a little Logitech action. I don't know what the rig is though. I don't recognize that rig.
No idea.
And the only thing about that rig that would bother me is the post between, like that post goes straight down the middle. So it's sitting between your legs as you're, trying to use the pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you can get around it. My first wheel stand was like that. It had a pole in the middle, and it's less of a deal than you think it would be.
Really? Okay. That's curious. I've never used one, so I can't say. But it just seems like that would bother me. But I guess you'd be fine. Yeah. But that is Shane 155, one of our Xbox racers. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who said that?
It looks like a pretty good like a starter rig. I mean, the G series. I had a G for 3 years, 4 years, and beat the crap out of it. The pedals are great, but it'll keep up with you. And a lot of people, you don't realize how competitive the G series can be. Like you can get pretty quick and still use a G29, G923, or whatever they want to number it now.
Yeah. That's where I started, and actually, this rig is more solid than what I started on because I had a play seat challenge. So anybody's used one of those or the next level racing variant of that, this is going to be much more solid than what I started on. So to have that solid platform, it looks stable enough. He could probably add like a CSL DD or a Moza R5, whatever. Is that the base? Their lower powered base is the R5, right?
Yeah, the 5 is the base, and then the 9 is the one up from that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that looks at least stable enough. You could go to a direct drive, so that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Maybe.
And the seat looks solid too. Nice bucket seat.
Yeah.
Question though, I'm seeing the bricks behind them, and I'm just picturing a fireplace.
As was I, Coffin.
That's yep. I would say it's probably a fireplace. It gets a little
just
warm
like,
in that seat.
It's
a little toasty.
It's a bold choice,
right?
Well, it doesn't have to be lit.
It's immersion. All right, he's trying to simulate the heat in the car.
It's that rear engine. It's that rear engine immersion, right?
It's the flames shooting out of the back of the McLaren.
Oh man! All right, one more to go. Rick Pixel, the man, the myth, the legend. Let's talk about it. Moza R9 with a CS Dash and GS wheels, TLCM pedals, a track racer TR80 light rig, an eBay shifter and handbrake. I don't know what that means, except I think I've seen some of those off-brand you can get from eBay that are just,
they're great.
Really? Okay, very good.
Oh, they're amazing.
Button box with an integrated stream deck, BMW car seat, and we'll get to more pictures. Pixel, he shared more pictures. I had to break his up into 2 slides, which I think is great. An i7 9700K 4070 Ti with 32 gig of DDR4. He's got a Go XLR, a Shure SM7B, a Nova Pro wireless headset, Logitech G Pro wireless mouse, and a Durgot Venus mechanical keyboard. Let's move over to the other pictures here, and you can see Pixel again shared a ton of pictures with us. That is a tight looking rig. I love the Lego F1 car on the wall. The only thing, and I know it sounds weird because he has it looks like a curved 34 for his actual race screen. The curved monitor above it, it just looks weird to me. It just looks weird to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it, because I have a curved 34 right here. I have then above it a flat 27. That seems to work. I don't, for some reason, like the curves don't line up. So I think that would bother me. Obviously, it doesn't bother Rick, but it just looks like it would bother me, and I don't know why.
Well, he could have got the both of those monitors before he built this rig too.
True. No, absolutely.
I'm curious what BMW that seat came out of. Like, was it a BMW van? Like was it an SUV? It doesn't look very M3. I might be wrong. I'm not a BMW guy, so.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I like this rig. I mean, listen. The cable management's tight. You don't see things hanging out, sticking out, hanging around. Button boxes and things to push everywhere. Monitor, that upper monitor is really what I'd like to have back here behind me, is that second monitor up above for certain things. But in a full Moza setup, yeah, I'd say this is pretty tight little rig.
Grips. The wheels got the aftermarket grips that you can add on too.
Yeah, I think he did mention that as well, the aftermarket grips. So really nice setup from Rick right there.
And I just noticed his all his plugins is strapped to his rig.
Yeah, it's on the bottom
you see,
left.
that little USB thing right there. That's
yeah.
I have something similar, and I can't wait to have a second PC.
Molson, you want to see mine?
Really nice. No, retro. I know what yours looks like, and there's just wires everywhere. That's why I'm saying you see all that on the right. You see all that on the left hand side of all that USB stuff plugged into that side of that rig, and yet when you look at the blown out picture and you pull it back a little, retro, you gotta stop.
God.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Where's the fire extinguisher?
It's down that way.
Okay, perfect. As long as you got one, because you're going to need it at some point. No, overall, I think this is very clean. I like Rick's rig. I think he's put a lot of work into this, and yeah, that looks really good. So, very good this week. That is the rig roast and review for this week's show. Keep bringing them in, guys. Keep filling that channel. I know there's a few more there. We'll have enough for next week, I think, but we need people to keep submitting those rigs for us to come in and take a look at. So, gentlemen, moving into race 2 of season 6, any last words for the people out there that are looking forward to Laguna Seca like I am on Sunday? Anderson, you go first.
Oh, no pressure.
None.
I think kind of like what I started to say when we were talking about this before. Just be patient with lap 1, especially the hairpin. It's going to be a lot of side by side and a lot of people trying to make it 3 wide to try and win on lap 1, turn 1, or T2 technically. Just be patient. There's a lot of, despite what it seems like, I feel like there's a lot of places where you can try and make a move here. You got the 2 right-handers after that. You can make a move, and a left-hander after those 2. If you're feeling a little spicy, you could go for it on the corkscrew. And then you got the last turn, which is a big send it turn too. So you got I think you got about 4 or 5 locations where you could try and make a move. It's not like Suzuka where it's wide open, but there's only so many places where you can make that move. Yeah. So just be patient, I think is my message to everyone.
Awesome. Adam, what about you? What say you about Laguna Seca?
Well, if you guys don't see me the next race, that just means that you should not race on your anniversary.
Well, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, and go take care of Mrs. Adam. Or Mrs. Willie. You don't, hey, if she lets you race, though, you found a keeper on your anniversary.
Yeah, no.
So,
I already told. I'm like, hey, I'm racing, and then after that, we're doing stuff. So
there you go. See, make the rest of the day about her. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Mr. Fife, Brandon Pfeiffer, what do you think, sir?
I just say with pit stops, make sure you're taking the proper lane coming out of the pits, not cutting over early onto the front straight, and then also be careful with people pulling into the pit lane because it's kind of high speed coming out of that right-hander. You're on the left side of the track. If you're not prepared for somebody moving over in the pits, you might rear end them. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, just so we've said it, yes, you do have to follow the entire pit lane exit. You cannot cut out onto the track, even though ACC doesn't care. Please go around T2 and come out the proper exit from the pits this Sunday to everyone watching. Because we've seen it happen. TG will embarrass you heartily on Discord. He will make sure you get called out very hard. And I'm pretty sure, Anderson, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure you're gonna pull a penalty of some sort. So
we're especially if we catch it, you gotta get a naughty from me.
Actually, he's putting it in the mail.
Mr. Coffin, there it is. Do that face again. Do that again. There you go. That is perfect.
Make that an emoji for the Twitch.
We need that an emoji for Twitch or for Discord, one of the two. Retro, what about you? I know you're not going to be racing, but if any advice you have to give for the people who are, what are you going to tell them about Laguna Seca?
Be patient, put pressure on, and hope that they break too late into T2.
Okay, there you go.
That's where you make your money.
There you go. Excellent. Well, that is it for this week's Recovery Drive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for joining us over here to review the week, talk about next week, and we will be back next Thursday. I didn't even look. What is the race after Laguna? We're going to talk Kyalami. We got a Kyalami after that. So, and that's on June 4th. So lots of races. There will be some breaks throughout the season. Anytime there is not a race on Sunday, there will not be a recovery drive the Thursday prior. We have breaks in there for Father's Day coming up in June, and also the July 4th holiday in the U.S. towards the end of the season. But Laguna Seca coming up this week. Kyalami Sprint directly afterwards. I want to thank Mr. Anderson, Mr. Fife, Mr. Willie, and Mr. Retro Coffin for joining me this evening here for this show. Other than races, it is one of my favorite things to get together with you guys and talk about what's coming up. The American t-shirt, the bandana, the mullet, and the Pabst Blue ribbon. It is Indy 500 weekend. Retro, enjoy yourself at that race. We are sorry you will not be around. What's that?
Left turns.
Left
3.5 hours of left turns.
Well, if you
Make
want to
a
watch
left
people
turn.
listen, if you want to watch people drive in circles, that's okay for you. You go do that. I hope you have a blast. We will think about you while we are racing this Sunday. To everyone out there watching, on behalf of all these guys and behalf of myself, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. I am going to go back and I'm going to play Dunn's video again just because I obviously talked over it at the beginning of this show. That was a lot of fun. You guys have yourselves a great Memorial Day weekend if you're in the U.S., and we will be back Sunday for racing. Saturday, don't forget you can pick up the Xbox races on our Twitch channel, and we will be back Sunday for Laguna Seca, and then next Thursday, Recovery Drive returns. Everybody have yourselves a great Memorial Day and a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Hi, Dylan Dunn from Tiffin, Ohio, fighting at a fly kickbox and fighting for my grandfather. Support your fighters, make a difference, and donate today. Come watch us fight, June 14th at Mission Ballroom.